here we are. We are live to talk about our sacred sound course that we will be doing. And it starts next week. And any questions that you may have about sacred sound, how would this be relevant for you, sacred sound? Anything that you want to know about how we work with it, what you can expect in this course. This is the place where we're going to dive into all of it.
And this course starts next week on August 14th. It's a 7-week course. And we're both going to be contributing different kind of halves and collaborations together. But the structure is laying out very... it's a lot of kind of like complex stuff when you first start thinking about mantras and all the different mantras and the sounds and what it's used for and all this stuff. But it's much more simple than that. And all of the stuff that I talk about, that I work with in my life, it's all connected to sound. And so if people ask for explanations on anything else I talk about, it's always going to come back to sound. And it's always going to come back to the voice.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't think that their voice can make a big difference in their spiritual experience. And I was one of these people. And I just saw that Oliver joined, and he has been a big catalyst for me when it comes to sound, and specifically Aramaic. And there's been other people on my path that I've worked with Hebrew with, and basically your voice or light language, whatever light language that you may feel drawn to, vibrating energy out of your body with your own voice is one of the most powerful ways that you can activate trauma that has been dormant. It's almost like cement that becomes so solidified in your cells that you feel it's going to be there forever. And sometimes working with sound, not sometimes, basically just whenever you work with sound, you are going to be making microscopic earthquakes almost in the cells of your body. And it's going to allow for this stuff to come up, and you don't have to understand the languages that you're working with, the sounds that you're working with, because it is going to have an energetic effect. But that's where we are going to be showing you in this course. If you start looking into the translations of some of these sounds, of these words, it's going to make sense why you're feeling certain emotions or why certain energies are coming up for you.
Oh, what was I just going to say? People ask me a lot, what is the most important thing they could be doing to contribute to the earth and contribute to reality and darkness and things that they are seeing that they feel are of the negative side, of the suffering side. And that too is always going to come back to sound, because when you start working with the vibration of your voice, you're going to do exactly what she's saying, and you're going to tune your body into the planet. And so then when you're using your voice, speaking, doing affirmations, vocal statements, mantras, even silent mantras, that is a completely silent voice in your head, you can learn to affect reality through that frequency and through that internal voice and that external voice. And so people get so caught up in how they're serving the planet, but serving it is your vibration, and mastering your vibration is mastering your voice.
And this is stuff that was known in these ancient mystery schools, such as the Essene community, the Druids in the Himalayas. All these people had some kind of sound healing practice that where they used their own voice, mantras, chanting, toning, and other amazing resource is Dale Allen Hoffman, who was a part of the Aramaic course that I took, where Oliver was also the Gnostic Druid, for those that don't know him on Instagram. And so these two introduced me to Aramaic and toning. So you don't have to even work with words, you can work with sounds. And I posted something a few days ago. If you simply, for 20 minutes, would experiment with, for instance, the tone ma, which is the mother tone. If you would just go ma, and you just do that and just observe what is happening in your body when you do this, because you're opening up. This ma sound opens you up, so you're automatically going to feel things. If you're not comfortable with using your voice, it's going to feel a little weird. You're going to be like, oh, what am I doing? I don't feel good. My body feels a little weird. But after a while, you're going to feel that stuff is going to start to come up. And if you then combine that with, for instance, journaling, writing stuff down, just taking kind of like keeping track of what is happening in your body, what's happening with your emotions when you start working with these different sounds, and how maybe things are going to come up in your relationships, in how you feel about yourself, in how you feel about where your life is going. I could have never imagined that sound was going to have such a ripple effect on all other areas of my life when I started playing around with sound. But it did.
Because that's the goal of this, is to feel good with your voice, to feel confident with your voice. One, when you're speaking, because there are many, many people who hold fears of speaking, of public speaking, of even just having private conversations. People get so caught up in here. And if you ask someone to sing in front of other people, a lot of people are going to have a heart attack in that request, because they're so embarrassed. You're going to have, I meant to say panic attack. But they're so embarrassed around how they sound when they sing, because there's been all of this judgment and all of this conditioning. When I was working in the music industry, I used to say American Idol was one of the worst possible things that could have happened to any singer or any musician, because it creates this expectation, it creates this artificial sense of sounding perfect. But that's not the point of singing. That's commercialized production singing that is meant to sell things. Your voice is such an integral part of your life that if you can feel comfortable singing and toning and giving your voice the freedom to do that, then imagine how confident you're going to feel when you're just speaking and having just a conversation.
Mm-hmm. And there have been a few people that signed up that chose the recorded version because they have children and they can't really join in group. But that is actually such a good opportunity, because when I started with this, I had 2 young children and they were not judging me at all. When I was still judging myself and, oh, how is this going to sound? Am I making a fool of myself? I'm going to do this on my own where nobody can hear me. But then I was more comfortable after a while doing that in front of my kids, and they're just looking at you in admiration. They're just like, oh my God, it is amazing, because everything you do, they find amazing. And then you're going to feel comfortable, and it's just this nice, or with your dog. I would do this with my dog. I would sing to him. I would chant. I would practice all these things. And little by little, because your subconscious mind is not going to realize that this is your dog, this is your child, this is your neighbor, it's going to eventually become easier and easier and easier. And then there's going to be a point where you are so comfortable with your voice, and it's going to have this ripple effect into how you speak, singing, speaking. It's all coming from the same place.
Because I started with Sanskrit mantras and singing with malas. So I learned how to do silent meditations and chanting out loud at the same time. And there's all these different words that come with these different mantras. And so we can, again, focus on this perfection of singing these words in this certain way and how they've been shown and given to us from these previous generations. But once I kind of went more into playing with the mantras. That's where I started doing things like what you're talking about. I just take one little syllable from the entire mantra and just sing that for like 5 minutes. And then I would start to notice how these little associations and these aspects of the Sanskrit mantras were then showing up in the English language, and they were showing up in my reality around me. And I started to be able to decode these different messages because I was informing myself with the vibration of these sounds and of these mantras. And so that's where it's going to then take us into the areas of understanding language and our relationship with language, and how language used to be back when we were in a unified, positive, social memory complex, organic state. And there were these higher dimensional civilizations, what that was like, what was language like, and how has it progressed, and why has it progressed in the way that it has. All of these things are going to be what we're going to be diving into.
Mm-hmm. And you can even work with language like symbols. So you can work with specific letters. There is, for instance, the letter B, bet, in Aramaic and Hebrew. And it is the shape of a little house almost. It's like a little thing that contains something. And we're going to dive into that, because in a lot of these words that I work with, it has the energetic meaning of holding something, being the container that nourishes something, where something can like grow in. And so the shape will represent that. And then if you have that visually in front of you, for instance, you print that out on a piece of paper, and you have that as a visual light language in front of you, and then you work with these words, with these phrases, then you're working with it with sound and with your eyes. You're going to be stimulating your senses on multiple levels.
Mm-hmm. And a big thing that comes up for me when working with sound is the concept of manifestation. People are very, very focused on the outcome of manifesting the thing, the final reality, the house, the payment, all the stuff that they want. But they're not focused on the process of that manifestation. And your body is what's manifesting your reality. So if you start working with the symbols of the letters, the different tones, the syllables, the vibrations, you're aligning yourself to this state of vibration, and you're devoting yourself to the body, which is the temple, and that body's then just going to naturally do its manifestation work. So you don't have to focus on all of these things that you want, and on these portal days manifesting this stuff and it's like manifesting your connection to your voice and to source as that voice is the thing that's going to take you into the strongest level of embodiment for the fifth dimensional reality.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of manifesting and your connection to source, one of the modules that I'll be diving into is the Hebrew, I call it the Seraphim mantra. And it's the Golden Dragon Song is basically what I call it, because if you're familiar with what I do, you'll know I constantly talk about the Seraphim as these golden serpents of light, and how they are basically in heaven, worshiping God, constantly singing to God. And the Seraphim are known for wanting to help you get laser clear, like super clear on your mission. So if you call upon them, you're creating a shield of clarity that is going to illuminate the truth, burn away all illusion about what it is that you think you want to manifest, but it may not be in your highest alignment. So working with that specific mantra, for instance, you don't even have to understand it, but you're going to understand it because I'm going to translate it with you. Mm-hmm. Just saying that is going to have an effect on your body. It's going to have an effect on your energy field. And it is probably going to have a connection to other lifetimes where you may have worked with languages such as Sanskrit, Hebrew, Aramaic, where you're going to be connecting the dots in the spider web that is your Akashic records, where you are the point in the middle and all the threads are the other lifetimes. So if you vibrate one thread with sound, in this case, the entire web is going to move. So you're going to be healing with sound throughout all dimensions of your existence.
Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest things that I noticed when I was learning Sanskrit mantras, I was kind of immersing myself in that culture, understanding the history behind mantras, the different kind of Indian tribes, the Hindu mythology, the Vedas, all of that stuff. And the main thing that I noticed is that because you're gonna sing to specific energies, right? We're pulling in energies and vibrations that are according to that mantra or that tone or that symbol. But for instance, there's a Hanuman mantra that's in the Vedas, in the Hindu mythology. And so Hanuman is known as this deity, as this monkey god, but people are devoting themselves to a Hanuman that exists outside of them. It's a god that's out there. It's things that are out there. It's the aspect of Hanuman that's out there, the disconnection between themselves and Hanuman. But really, Hanuman is an aspect of creation. It's an aspect of your body. Hanuman exists in your body. You are an aspect of Hanuman. So if you know where to locate that in your body and sing the mantra with Hanuman, then you're devoting yourself to the temple of God being your body. And rather than reaching externally, it's the same thing as praying to Archangel Michael outside of yourself, or Mary, or Yeshua, anything. They're all aspects of ourself. So when we can take the frequencies that correspond to them, locate those areas in our body, then we're collapsing that distance between us and we're creating a connection of unity.
Mm-hmm. And that's really what we are doing here with Ascension. Everyone is always trying to go up and up and up outside, but by pulling these energies into your body, you are drawing the God frequency into your body, into the planet, and that is the whole goal of this spiritual journey, is to become one with the planet so that we can lift this planet up again to a higher frequency.
Mm-hmm. And I want to go back to what you said too about other lives coming up and working with the languages and whatnot. And that this practice of mantra sound, internal and external, has been the main thing that's connected me to my Akashic records. It automatically, I wasn't even trying to do that. I was just learning about mantras. Didn't even think I could tune into the Akashic records. And I started doing mantras and I started getting vivid memories. And it's what opened my body up to my connection with the memory in my heart. So then I embraced that and I said, okay, how can I really, really affect my connection with this memory through my voice? And so that's why I have such a deep understanding with my Akashic records, and why that has opened up for myself is just because of sound. And everything else that has happened in my life has all orchestrated itself from that foundation of sound. It's like I still will do a mantra every day, whether it's a silent mantra or an external mantra. Sometimes it's both. I've been doing that for a couple of years now, every single day. And so we're going to be going into the complexity of the information, the simplicity of the information, but how to embody this and integrate it on a day-to-day basis, because everybody can do it. You don't need a special life or a special schedule in order to adopt these habits.
No, and we see children spontaneously toning and singing, and if you are a parent, you will know that your children will just talk gibberish. They'll say things, they will just make sounds that are like and they are spontaneously performing a form of self-healing with their voice. They are recalibrating energy. And I would joke about that with my daughter. I would say, she's just recalibrating, which is actually the truth. So yeah,
just the smallest things like that, like making sounds with your lips, like I didn't know how to do that when I first saw somebody talking about that, and I was like, I tried to do it and it didn't work. But the more I practiced it, the more it started sounding like that, and I could feel it opening up muscles, opening up energy within my jaw and my throat. So it's so simple, and this is what is the basis of the fifth dimensional teachings. We're going back to the origin, which is the word. We are all the word. We are all vibration in action, in motion. We are the speaker of the word and the word at the same time. So if we're negating this whole aspect of us, then that essence is going to be able to be utilized and influenced by our trauma and our fear rather than our conscious healing and integration of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when we look at stuff, for instance, like the Bible, the word is written down, but it was never meant to be written down. It was meant to be energetically understood with your body, by hearing these things with your senses and not just reading them on a piece of paper. And a lot of these things were mistranslated. And another thing that we're going to be diving into, that's going to be one of my modules, is the phrase, I am the good shepherd, in Aramaic. Because it doesn't just mean I am the good shepherd. I am means something very specific. The good and shepherd means something also very specific. And how we can find these different phrases in the body, how certain phrases, certain words, are going to be connected to the third eye. Certain words in that phrase are going to be connecting right into your solar plexus and into the root. And what that really means when Jesus said, I am the good shepherd. So that's going to be a very good one. I've been working with that one as a mantra for myself, and that may be one of the more powerful ones that I've been working with. And it's so easy. It's just so easy. Working with sound is something everyone can do. You have spiritual alchemy, spiritual technology right here in your body that everyone has.
And that's what true alchemy is. It's not a material process of turning actual lead into gold. That's not what alchemy was intended as. It was the magic of transmutation through vibration. And yeah.
Let's see if we have some questions. I think you may
Someone
have
did ask
I don't think I have.
If doing the practices daily is recommended. And yes, 100%. I recommend doing any practices you're trying to embody on a daily basis when you first start, because that's what's going to build the practice. But yes, we're going to be going into the daily understanding of how to work with these different things. So the same person also said, can our voice vibration resonance heal our environment, including our home, space, pets, furniture, even if it just makes meaningless sounds, or can it lower our environments?
I have a good example of that. The Hebrew Hail Mary. This is actually a very powerful prayer. If you listen to this, you don't even have to be the one that's singing this. I literally had this whole psychic attack experience happen a couple of years ago, where there was something attached to my daughter. And together with some crystals that I used, I was constantly playing the Hebrew Hail Mary. Because this is the mother frequency that you are then playing. You are blessing with the mother. You are basically blessing your environment, anything that is exposed to this sound. And she loves this prayer. And she was like acting like she didn't want to hear it. It was like a demon that was responding. And then after, I just had it playing for 24 hours. And then after that, she was like, okay, she calmed down. And I said, this was like something was attached to you that did not like this frequency. So you can cleanse your space with this. You can cleanse your own energy with this. Definitely.
Yeah, and it's just about the intention, because you could set the intention in your heart to clear your home, and you could make random noises, and the intention is going to come through those noises, and it's going to enhance the vibration because you're holding a higher intention. So then once you know certain frequencies that match these higher intentions, then that's where you can really create that focused scientific process where it becomes complex. But make it simple. Set the intention in your heart, make noises, and feel the difference in the energy, because That's the confidence in the voice. It's creating a heart-centered connection between the intention of the heart and the throat, and then using that to speak, rather than our bridge of intention being kind of cut off.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes, any questions that you may have,
more.
feel free to put them in the comments now that we are here to answer
Someone
them.
said my 2-year-old speaks primarily in light language all day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all language starts as light language, and then over time it gets distorted in certain ways. And so that's the part of us understanding the simplicity of how language starts. If we language could start as grunts, it can start as many different things. And so recognizing the light within all language is what then helps us open up to all those other spaces.
Yeah. Someone here said, difficult few months here, sadness and anxiety, loneliness, I want to release this. I'll tell you how I bumped into working with sound. I've always loved music. I've played instruments. I always have music playing. And I have been channeling, meditating, all that stuff for years. And then in 2021, I bump into Oliver and Dale, 2 guys that introduced me to Aramaic. And I was on Instagram scrolling, and I'm like, what am I going to do with Aramaic sound? I was already studying the Essenes, studying Jesus, and then I was like, and I just didn't know why. And it was at a point in my life where I had just split up from my ex. We had all these disagreements when it came to my children. It was a whole big mess. My life seemed like I did not have space for something like exploring sound, doing this course, and I did it. And it proved to be such a healing experience. So when you have the feeling like I just feel that I'm working through so much, you're working through this grief, sadness, just heaviness, I cannot recommend enough how much sound can shift all of this for you. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Sound is my go-to, and it's always going to be the thing that takes me deeper into relationship with my emotions, into my embodiment, into my integration. Whenever I have a lot of rage or I have to go through forgiveness, I'm going to sing a mantra. And I'm not going to control the emotion, but it's going to help transmute it. It's about integrating your alchemical container of your body. So I recommend this course to literally every single person that wants to progress in their embodiment journey. Every single person, every aspect of life is going to be connected in this course.
Yeah.
And Joshua said, is there a way to articulate the metaphysics behind how sound and mantra allows us to gain access to the Akashic records? What actually happens inside the body to allow this to happen? That's what the whole course is going to be about. We're going to go deep into that. As we've said, it's about cellular memory. It's about our energy bodies. And it's really just about the connection between the two. So she's going to have a lot of mastery around language and Aramaic and really understanding translation and everything like that and how to work with that in the body. And then I'm going to also be able to bring in kind of some musical understandings that I've taken from working with music in the music industry of how to really see your body as an instrument, how to work with the different layers of it through the voice, and how that is going to create a metaphysical key that unlocks the connection to the heart. Because the heart is the Akashic records, and everything we're doing is coming back to the heart. So your question, Josh, embodies and encapsulates really the entire course, I think.
And I saw somebody asked something. I'm struggling with my power and confidence when it comes to speaking. In my mind, my thoughts are so clear, but when I go to verbalize, it feels there's a disconnect or shut down. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. I stuttered terribly in school when everyone had to take turn reading from their book something out loud. Each student had to read a paragraph out loud. I was panicking already when I saw that there was still 10 kids ahead of me, I was already panicking because I knew I cannot speak, I will stutter, I can't do this. And then I was like in my head repeating, okay, I have to say this and blah, blah, blah. And then it would just not work. But it is often connected to the Akashic records, where you have mastery and such skill when it comes to the stuff that you're good at. And you know exactly what you want to say. And then when it comes to actually manifesting this into the external reality, which is speaking this into life, there's all these other energies that are in our body, and the body is going to be the thing that is going to have to bring this sound forth. Suddenly the body is like, nope, you were killed back then and then and then. Remember, I'm not going to let you die again. And that's very often what's happening, and it's by gently working with the body, by introducing it to these sounds in a way that is safe, that you are little by little going to see that it's going to have this ripple effect on all these mental programs that are kind of like shackles still holding you down.
And because we think a lot of what we think about speaking is in our mind. It's up here. It's the information we know, the vocabulary, the grammar, how we sound. It's all this mental focus, but everything's coming through the body first. Language is coming up through the feet first. So this is all about tuning us to that instrument and tuning that instrument to Gaia. Joshua asked another question. I think we're close to being done. Joshua said, the value of the sound mantra music is sending frequency through the body. Is that right? Could you achieve the same potency by using frequency in other ways? By sending light frequency into the body? Well, light and vibration are the same thing. So this is going to take you into your understanding of the metaphysics, which we can't go into right here on this live, but exactly what you're asking is what we're going to go into. We're going to understand how light frequency correlates to sound frequency, how they both connect to vibration, and how that is all working through the body, and how it's about this tool first, and then we can work with the external sound healing to enhance that and to integrate it more.
Like, for example, because I'm a painter, I see sounds as colors. And there's a name for it, but I don't know what it is. But like when I tune into, for instance, the Hail Mary prayer in Hebrew, all I see is light blue. But when I tune in to the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic, I see this mix of violet, dark blue, and green. It's like, it is basically this instant reminder of your connection to God, and also asking to please transmute anything where you are not clearly seeing God. And we're going to tune into specifics of these prayers and how you can use certain parts of the prayers for specific situations that are going on in your life.
Yeah, because it's used for everything. Again, like everything that happens in my life is being affected by the vibration of my chanting and of my voice. If I have obstacles or challenges, I'm going to sit down and do a mantra, focus the mantra on that obstacle and challenge, and connect it through my body. And so every single thing is connected back to it. And that's why I'm, really excited about being able to put all of this together. But I really, really recommend this to people so much. It's such a simple way to get into mastering your voice. And we've opened it up to 3 different tiers for experiencing it. Do you want to explain that?
Yeah. I had something first. Basically, you can influence, and it's not even influencing, that's not the word. You can align yourself so much with the frequency of God. And when I say God, most of you will know I mean Mother, Father, God, Creator of all things. You can align yourself so much with what God wants for you that it becomes effortless to manifest what God wants for you, what your higher self wanted for you, by opening up all of these layers. And the body is the layer that always is the last one to heal. We can have these mental constructs, we can have these emotional layers that we heal, we see the things, but then the body still has a post-traumatic stress reaction, which is directly connected to your Akashic records, to your ancestral experiences in the bloodline, to your childhood. And it's by doing these things, that's why we do this in group, so that if stuff comes up, there's going to be a Telegram group. You can share your experiences, because you may have some unexpected emotional reaction to certain things that you practice. And then you're going to have this group where you can say, hey, is this also coming up for you? And it's going to feel so much easier to process a lot of this stuff together. Mm-hmm. So you can do this as a recorded course, where you just buy the course and you get the recordings after we do the live calls. And you get to watch this at your own time, whenever you want, in private. And then there's the live experience, where you join us for the live calls, and they're going to be on Thursday afternoons, and you get to ask your questions live. So, and then there's a third option where you can also buy a one-on-one call that comes with the bundle, where you can dive deeper in an extra call after the course is done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just want to read this message out loud from Joshua. He just finished up a container that I was just hosting, and he said, please make sure to pass along my affinity for the last container. It was amazing, massive value in navigating with other like-minded people, incredible bonds developed with oddly familiar strangers. And so, again, the whole community aspect, the group chat, being able to go through this together, it's a very, very significant part of the experience, if that's what you're choosing that you want to go through. Every time I do one of these containers, the community part really, really ties it together, and it feels really good to be able to go through it with people who are feeling the same things. So, yeah. Is there anything
I have
over?
Written a few blogs about the container, about the Sacred Sound course that we're doing, about our experiences. We've posted some videos. You can find all of that on our social media if you're curious. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and we also have the Dragon and Angel Reset, which is the custom vocal statements that we're doing together. And if you buy the Dragon and Angel Reset, you then get that price discounted off of the live experience of the Sacred Sound group container.
Yes. And for those that just now joined the live, this is going to come up as a repost. You're going to see this on Instagram, on my YouTube, in my Facebook group as a replay, so you can watch this again. And if you are doubting, if you are kind of in between, and you're not sure if this is for you, feel into your body. This is what I tell everybody that I work with. And feel how your body responds to, not your mind. Your mind is going to try to sabotage you. Your mind is going to say, oh, you can't sing, you should not do this, this is not good, it's going to be a waste of your money, blah, blah, blah. Because that's what my mind was telling me each time that I wanted to sign up for a course that turned out to be life-changing. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll make a few more posts on this before it starts next week. But we hope to see you there.
And you can find all the information about these 3 different versions that we're offering, the recorded, the live version. You can find it all on thegoldendragontemple.com, and it's all linked in our bios. You can find it. It's real easy. Thegoldendragontemple.com. You can find all the details there.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to answer this last question. She asked, so you don't get a discount off the recorded version if you get the Dragon and Angel Reset? No, we're not doing a discount on the recorded version. It's just that live, that middle live access.
Because there's already quite a significant price difference between the live and the recorded. Yeah. So that's why.
So yeah, it's just for the live version. So thank you for asking that, Jill.
Okay.
But yeah, we hope to see you all there. All the prices are on thegoldendragontemple.com. And you can find that at the link in our bios.
Bye.
All right. Bye, everybody.